Members. Just like to welcome everyone. I notice there's a lot of people in this room who've come from a long way, so thank you so much, all the people from the East and from Ottawa. We appreciate you making the effort. It's really nice to see you. I want to take the first few minutes to simply approve the agenda and approve the minutes from the last meeting. So I'm going to put a motion on the floor to please approve the agenda. Sorry. Motion to approve the agenda of the annual member meetings, November 2nd, 2024. I'm tabling that. Can someone second that, please? Okay, Kayleen, thank you for seconding that. So is anyone opposed? All in favor? Great, motion is adopted and we've approved the agenda. The next motion is for people who were at this meeting last year, November 4th, 2023. I'd like to put forward a motion to approve the minutes of the 2023 meeting of members. So you should have had a copy of the minutes given to you if you were at last year's meeting when you came in. Does everyone agree to approve? Oh, could we have a second, please? Bernie, thank you very much. Bernadette Johnson is seconding, and all in favor? And anyone opposed? Perfect, thank you. We've adopted the minutes of the November 4th, 2023 meeting. Thanks, everyone. First order of business is off the table. I know that the vast majority of you came to get your ribbons, so we have a legal obligation to present you some of the material from our year and our year end and our financial year end. So we're gonna get through this as fast as we can and get to the meat and potatoes, which, as you can see, is waiting for you. My name is Sarah Richardson. You got an introduction to me through my screensaver and my manifestation page for 2023, which I made with my niece. And I'm glad that's off the screen, but I'm the president. I've been president for a year. And I'd like to introduce to you well, first of all, I'm going to tell you that there's going to be a lot of great pictures in this presentation, and they were taken by our photographers who regularly come to all of our horse trials. Teresa Finnerty, Ian Woodley, and Delaney Graham are the ones whose pictures we've used in this presentation. They're not individually labeled, but I want to thank them all for letting us use their images. They're fabulous. Now I will introduce to you your board of directors. So first, Vice President is Doug Topolovich. He's an inventor. He's ridden up to the EV110 level. Great all-around guy. Next, we have our treasurer, Bernadette Johnson. Fabulous tax accountant who keeps us all in line. Then we've got Tori Pengelly, who is monitoring our Zoom call, and she's on the Zoom line. You don't see her here. And followed by our chair, Veronica Lowe, who most of you know. And then Force of Nature, Director at Large, Nikki McClellan. Finally, that's the executive. And then our directors are Gabrielle Turcott, Jamie Kellogg, Caitlin Millard, Amanda Pritchard, Stephanie Stilla, and Zadie Trainell, who is not here, but and I don't even think he's on the Zoom because he's got something else he's got to do today. So that's your board of directors. You should feel free to contact any of us at any time if you have anything you need to say to us. We're all volunteers, so don't forget that. Yeah, we do not, we really don't take reimbursement from the OEA. All the money that we collect from our members goes directly back into the sport. I will as we go through what we have done and what we're planning for 2025, I'm going to let you know which of our directors is the most appropriate person to talk to. If you want to follow up when you're having lunch or a little later, if you want to contact them. So we're going to start with just a little bit of opening remarks, which is going through what happened in Ontario this summer. So we're going to start with our entries. Now, it was a pretty good summer. We lost Willow Wind at the end of 2023, so we were down a horse trial. But the numbers, although they were down, they weren't significantly down, with the exception of a couple of divisions. EV90, EV115 was down, but that was largely because it was an Olympic year. And the Olympics coincided with the height of our summer season, and we lost a lot of our higher level riders. Other than that, the really, really shining star of our season was EV60. It came out with a 23% increase from last year, while everything else went down slightly. So that is pretty exciting and is very affirming that we're on the right track with EV60, and it's a good development tool for this sport. So we're looking forward to continuing to see that grow. Just to give you a sense of where most of our entries come, it's clearly the bronze level, EV60 to EV90, down a little bit from last year, but still robust. Silver is down also a little, but it's the second biggest, and then the gold is the smaller contributor at the higher levels. So EV60 had a positive impact on the rate of decline in the bronze levels, bringing it to 11.5 compared to some of the numbers you saw on the slide previously. In silver, the decline was really in EV100 and EV105, which is also silver, was very static. It only changed by one entry. The gold was down, but again, the fact that it was an Olympic year would have affected that, and also the fact that we lost the only advanced course when Wind retired. So those are things that will rebound. It's cyclical, some of this stuff, and these numbers are not, they're interesting, but I think they're not indicating a lack of health in our sport in this province. Our sport is pretty healthy. We'll get to that in a minute. The OEA membership, total OEA membership, is also down a little. So 1,099 compared to 1,170 last year, but still higher than earlier, the end of the 2019, 2018, 2017, where it was down in the 900s. So it's still perfectly healthy. Okay, this is a breakdown of the OEA memberships. What we see is that the junior and senior memberships are both slightly down. Junior down less, probably a result of the rise in the EV60. Most of those are happening in the junior levels, in the junior divisions. Seniors down slightly, and it will take a little while for these adventurers that are entering now EV60 to get to the higher levels, the higher bronze levels, and those who continue to the silver and gold. So I do think that these things are cyclical, and that we just have to hang tight and produce the best programming we can and support our members and our venues as much as we can, and continue to do what we're doing, which has kept eventing in Ontario significantly healthier than in several other provinces in this country. So that's a snapshot of what's happened to the membership this year. So So the key issues that I'm going to focus on going forward are things that I've sort of divided our activities and our progression next year into three general categories. One is how to support our members. The second is how to support our sport. And the third is how to support our horse trials and our venues efficiently and affordably, because as our membership goes down, our revenues go down slightly also, and we have to find ways to do more with less. So, but we're good at that. We've never had that much, and we do quite a bit. So that is, those are the three categories that you're gonna see that we focus on. The membership, we have to focus on both levels. We have to focus on the bottom, on the development, on the grassroots, keep people entering the sport. We have to also focus on keeping people progressing through the sport as best we can, to keep it healthy and to find those, to help support those who really want to, go to the Pan Am Games, go to the Olympics, really pursue a high performance dream. That's really important that we have those riders also. So this is where we are. And before we embark on a full program in 2025, there's a few things that we feel like we need to do. And we will explore these at our next meetings. One is to undertake a membership survey to figure out what our members think. How are we doing? How can we do better? What are the challenges they face? How can we help? This is I think really, it's timely now. It's we haven't done that for several years, and we have to produce a new strategic plan this year for 2025 to 2030. And that will give us a lot of good information to work from to help us create our direction for the next 5 years. So that is the first order of on our agenda. That's the first action item on our agenda for early 2025. And the strategic plan will happen throughout 2025. We'll probably end up presenting it to you at this time next year, but it should be ready well before that. The third thing is strengthening horse sport governance, and this involves our relations with our provincial counterpart and our national counterpart. We want to make sure that that the governance structures and the decisions that are being made elsewhere support us and eventers and don't make it more difficult and more challenging for us to continue to grow our sport. So that is what I'm calling the starting point for 2025. Now, building membership. First, we're going to start with adult riders, and this is something that's it's a really important cohort of our membership. They make up, in 2024, they made up 57% of our members. They are riders who come out week in, week out, and compete at all of the sanctioned horse trials in Ontario. So in our membership survey, we will have a robust section for adult riders to tell us how we can help, what their issues are, what are the challenges facing them in terms of how much they can event. And that is a cohort we're going to be paying very close attention to. We did something for them this year, which is create our new adult rider team challenge. It was one of our pilot projects. And the effort really was to try and provide something for adult riders who don't have a barn structure, who ride alone, who might want to put together a team with other adults and create a sense of community in their riding. So we're hoping that everyone had a good time with that this year. It was, as I say, a pilot project. We have 3 winning teams. We're going to present the ribbons later to them, and we're going to ask everyone for their feedback as to how they like the program this year and how we could improve it for next year. So adult riders are high on our agenda, and our director Tori is going to be in charge of looking after adult riders. So she herself is an adult rider, and she's very excited about being part of that program. She will be joined by other directors, and you should feel free to reach out to them if you have any comments. The next very important cohort, I mean, all of our members are important, but I'm just singling out some of the way we divide them out, are juniors. Juniors in 2024 made up 38% of our membership. And juniors are the future of the sport. We have to look after our juniors. We have to promote them. We have to make it fun and rewarding and educational for juniors to keep eventing. So I have to take this opportunity to thank the Zara Buren Memorial Foundation, who've helped us put in place a couple of really key programs for juniors in memory of Zara Buren, who died 4 years ago, and the foundation has been set up by her family to promote junior eventers in Ontario. You are probably all familiar with the Zara Buren Memorial Award. If not, you should be. It's an award that is presented every year to a junior. It's $6,000, and it's to be used for training and competition and education and clinics. We award one every year, and then we award grants of distinction and grants of potential. This is done with the family, and the entry forms will be available in December, and we usually have a winner by the end of February. So look out for that. Go to our website, follow us on social media. You'll get the information if you're interested. It's definitely worth your while to put in an application. This year, we have a special pilot project also sponsored by the Zara Buren Memorial Foundation and the OEA. We're partnering in this. The collaboration is to identify at every horse trial in Ontario, sanctioned horse trial in Ontario, the top junior. We're trying to, the top junior gets awarded. I know there's some people in here in this room who have won this. The top junior gets a saddle pad, and we try and encourage as many juniors as we can. So there's a limit of one saddle pad per junior, but we always acknowledge everyone on social media the week after the awards of the events, excuse me. And we had 20 horse trials, and we had 20 ribbons, winners of saddle pads this year. And we hope to be doing something similar next year. We haven't decided exactly what. We haven't sat down with the family to see how they feel about how this worked. Again, if you have any feedback, if you are familiar with this program, please feel free to reach out. You can reach out to me, Sarah, and let me know how you felt about it, what worked for you, what didn't work for you, and yeah, these are the saddle pads. They are really nice, and the foundation bought 20 of these, so we still have a few that we have to give out that we haven't gotten to the rightful owners yet, but we've given out. I think we've gotten rid of 16 so far, so that's really fantastic. And so many things I love about this program. One is that it's province-wide. It happens at every horse trial. Another is that it acknowledges juniors from EB 85 to EB 110, so it's across divisions. And I like the fact that we were able to include 20 saddle pads for 20 juniors. We'll keep you posted on how this moves forward, but I do encourage you to give me feedback if you have any. Oh, okay, so that's the juniors. The next cohort that we really want to focus on in 2025 is our coaches. So we have had a couple of webinars with OEA to help coaches thinking about getting licensed and certified. Those happened earlier this year. We also put forward, just to see how people felt about it, an Eventing Coach of the Year award, which we're going to award today. It's a pilot project. Again, we'd love feedback if anyone was involved with that. And we will keep you posted. We would love to have input into how you feel about what we could do for coaches and eventing barns. How could we encourage more coaches to take more students to more horse trials? That's really key. The lack of coaching and lack of facilities is one of the barriers to the growth of this sport. So we will, we have a focus on a cross-cutting issue throughout all of these cohorts on education. And we have a committee that will focus on education this year. And in the past, we've done a lot of work on clinics and webinars. This will continue, but we hope to find new avenues to think about novel ways to help with training and other experiences for our juniors, our seniors, and also for our coaches. These are a few of the things that we did in 2025. We had a webinar with Kyle Morgan, which was great. He's a young Canadian who now works and lives in Germany. And then we had 2 clinics with Philip Dutton, who's one of the world's most preeminent eventers who rides in the US, and Rebecca Howard, who's a Canadian, who's a chef d'équipe of our Olympic team. So we're planning more clinics for next year and hopefully expanding the types of educational activities that we run. For those of you who haven't heard, we're having a clinic tomorrow with Boyd Martin. It is very exciting. And yeah, we hope some of you are coming, if not as riders, as auditors. The clinic is absolutely full. We had to pick people by lottery, but there were a lot of audience places that they've also filled up. So I hope anyone who wanted to go has gotten in. A huge project we did this year was revise our website. That was Doug. Doug is in charge of our website and our congratulations. Very well done, Doug. It was a really massive project, and we would, again, if you've been on the website, if you find things hard to find, if you find things easier to find, whatever, please get in touch with Doug. It's still a work in progress, but it is functioning, and we think we're pretty proud of it. We like the way it looks, and we hope you do too. But we are looking for feedback. Thank you. So get in touch with Doug. There's other ways we communicate: newsletter, email, blast, and social media. Really follow us on social media. Sign up to the Startbox newsletter, and you will not miss anything. That will keep you informed. Oops. We have our member appreciation initiatives. This is also something we hope that our members enjoy. Every now and then we do something to thank them. We have a barbecue at the Champs a few weeks ago, for example, a complimentary barbecue. We have one of our master barbecuers here in the audience today who made amazing pork belly and pork. Thank you, Paul. We also did something fun in the middle of the summer to celebrate our Olympic athletes, which we really, we ran live. We had two horse trials on the same day as the Olympic cross country in Paris. So both horse trials ran feeds of the cross country at the horse trials for people to check out when they had time. And we did. We had a contest for the best red and white patriotic get-ups. And we want to thank Casey Equestrian Colors and Carrie Coombs. Thank you, Carrie, for providing all the prizes. She even came up with a third when Glenn Arden announced that there had been a tie. Cheeky, but so that was kind of fun. So whenever we can do something for our members that is sort of gratuitous and fun, we do it, and that really didn't cost a penny. So prioritizing that development, this is for the sport, trying to get people into the sport and moving through the levels. That's pretty cute, eh?
joy of that day.
I know, I love that picture too. So as I said, the EV60 division has been a real winner for eventers in Ontario and for the OEA and the eventing generally. We started with seven venues running EV60. We had 7 this year. We're going to have 7 next year. But the number of horse trials will be increasing. The starts went up, as I said, like 24%, almost 24% this year. I mean, at one venue starts in 2024, EV60 made up 24% of their entries. So that's a hugely important chunk of entries. We did a few tweaks to the EV60 guidelines this year, and the most important was we reviewed the timing issue. I think there was a lot of not confusion, but it was not applied consistently in 2023. Some venues timed, some venues didn't time. The feedback we got was that people weren't sure whether it was being timed or not, whether times were important or not. So we're very clear this year that all rides will be timed, because timing is very important for cross-country riding. That's an important component. You've got to learn how to understand the pace at which you're riding and understand the importance of the timing. And you have to, as you go up in the levels, timing becomes more and more difficult to master. So rides will be timed, but it doesn't matter what your ride is, there will be no penalties attached to them. So the timing, what we're hoping is it gives coaches and riders the information to then review how the ride went. If you were too fast, how you might slow down. Did you know you were going too fast? How did it feel to go too fast? That sort of thing. So we think it's really an important component of teaching riders to ride to pace on a cross-country course. But we don't want people to get caught up in it. Really, the most important thing at that level is to get around. So the other thing, we waived our day membership fee for EV60, and we're hoping that encourages people. We're going to talk again about doing that in 2025. We haven't made that decision, but my guess is it'll be on the agenda at a board meeting very soon. We made one little change in EV75, which EV78 as it was. It's now EV75 to make it consistent with other provinces and to make it easier to set stadium jumps. I mean, that is what it is, so we grandfathered all cross-country jumps to 3 years, but in 3 years' time, every cross-country jump at EV75 will be 75 or below. But just to give organizers time to, not replace jumps that are going to be even that 3 centimeters too big, but to build new ones. So that's what's going on in the development levels. It's absolutely critical for the health of the sport, as you can see, that we bring people in and get them addicted to the love of eventing, and it is happening. So it's been pretty successful. Another development tool we have is the schooling days, and I think some of you are familiar with those, but it's subsidized schooling for people who are new to eventing or for people who just want to come and try it out. And we had 2 schooling days, and we collaborated with Wits End on a sort of pre-season, get out, dust off the cobwebs show. So the schooling days were the Bronte Creek and Stevens Creek. 11.6, so almost 12% of the riders were new or returning to eventing. Just from my own personal perspective, I did a schooling day with Selena O'Hanlon 5 years ago after not eventing for 45 years, and I started eventing again. Actually, after not having ridden for 45 years, I ended up in the schooling day. So I'm a strong believer in getting people out, gently reintroducing them or introducing them. And now that we have the EV60, there's really somewhere for them to go. So we are going to be reevaluating our schooling days program. Anyone who's got any feedback, again, contact Kayleen. She runs the schooling days, and we'd love to hear from you. EV 105, we've been working on that for it's an important division in the sport, and that's a way to sort of safely transition horses from training to prelim, from EV 100 to EV 110. So in an effort to try and promote that division, we had a program in place for 2 years that was just sunsetted 2 days ago, October 31st, to give a bit of financial support to venues that want to run EV 105, want to build a new course, or want to augment and improve their existing courses. So that is now, that funding package is now no longer available, but we've got 2 venues that have asked to take advantage of it. They have a year to build their courses. So by the end of 2025, by this time next year, we should have 2 more venues that offer EV 105. At the moment, we did lose Bronte Creek this year. It's very sad. Judith retired. It was nothing to do with, the state of the horse sport. It was literally a very personal decision. And we lost 3 EV 105 runs. So that's a lot to make up. So if the venues that have committed to doing EV 105 next year do it, we will have replaced those and then some. So we'll be back to where we are this year with an additional EV 105 run. So that's where we hope to be next year on EV 105. Stay tuned. We'll let you know how that goes. I'm gonna pass. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I don't understand this work. I'm gonna pass this over now to Nikki. We're on to the U25, which I don't know if you're all familiar with, but if not, again, you should be. And Nikki and Sam Pritchard are gonna run the U25. They're gonna lead that up from our board next year. So I'm gonna pass it over to Nikki now to explain what we did this year and where we're going.
Does this mic work? Okay, that's excellent. All right, amazing. So this year, Veronica, who is our chair and is leading the board, sadly at the end of, I guess now. Veronica and I were the co-chairs of the U25 program. Sadly, Veronica has lost her voice cheering on very enthusiastically for all of our eventers last night in the indoor eventing. So I will just give you guys a brief recap of the 2024 U25 program. So the U25 program is open to riders aged 25 and under in Ontario, and we started at E5 all the way up to the 115 level. We feel that the U25 program is vital for the development in our sport, both at helping students in the grassroots, helping riders in the lower levels, as well as creating a pathway to high performance. Our Ontario U25 program is one of the largest in the country. This year we had 39 members. Our program is 100% self-financed through fundraising and the fees that riders pay to be a part of the program. So none of our OEA membership fees go into our U25 program, entirely self, or the levies. Yeah, none of the levies or membership fees pay for any of the U25 initiatives. It's entirely self-funded. The focus of our program is rider education, training, sportsmanship, and a fellowship amongst their fellow riders within a framework that promotes best practices and safety as well. And one of our main goals in the U25 program is helping riders qualify to participate in the North American Youth Championships, which is our next slide. So these were our teams. This year, we were very excited to send 3 teams, one at the 1-star level, one at the 2-star level, and an individual at the 3-star level. These teams competed under the guidance of our wonderful chef Keith, Kendall Lahari, who I think is in the back of the room. Yay, Kendall. They had some tremendous success. So if we go to the next slide, you can see our results from this year. Yes, okay, awesome. Thank you. So the weekend started off with a bang with our Canadian riders winning the golf cart decorating award. So good job. You see some pretty fancy decorations up here, and they did not look back. They did a tremendous job. We had awesome results at all levels, but I also want to shout out Meg, who was the winner of the three-star Magazine. Also competed last night, will be competing again tonight in the indoor eventing. Our young rider ever to have done so. So everyone should scream extra loud for Meg tonight in the indoor eventing if you're going to the show. So another initiative that we offered our U25 members, next slide. Amazing. So we hosted, this is our second time hosting a year-end finale at Eastern Canadian Eventing Championships at Wesley Clover Park. So here were our champions and reserve champions at the levels. So congratulations to all these riders. We're going to make an effort of keeping it efficient. Not going to read all the names, but congrats, ladies. You guys did an awesome job. And then we also had a team challenge at the finale, which was awesome. Again, it's a huge success, both last year and this year. And so congratulations to our 3 winning teams. What's especially fun about the team challenge is it's open to riders at all levels and they're combined teams. So it's, gives a chance for riders of all different levels and abilities to work together. So.
Can I just interject here for 1 minute and say that 3 members of Chicken Finger Soup are sitting in the audience.
So we hope that everyone enjoyed the U25 finale again at Wesley Clover. If you guys have any feedback on the finale, Sam, Richard, and I will be co-chairing the U25 program next year with the help from Kendall again. Thank you, Kendall. So if you guys have any feedback, please let us know. We're always open to hearing feedback on how we can improve the program. This year, we have so far, another part of the program that we offer travel and training grants to our members to help encourage them to be able to compete at events that they may not otherwise be able to compete at, or to receive training that otherwise may not be possible. So far this year, we have awarded 4 travel and training grants, and the deadline for the second disbursement was midnight on October 31st. So we will be awarding another $2,500 worth of grants to cap off our grant disbursement for 2024. So we plan to continue to offer the travel and training grants in 2025. Some other things that we did offer this year was free auditing at the Rebecca Howard Clinic. And we also have free auditing for our U25 members at the Boyd Martin Clinic tomorrow. So we hope that lots of you guys can make it. Other plans for 2025 include participation at NAYC again, which now thankfully we have the date earlier this year. Last year we were surprised the date had been moved up, or this year, sorry, we've been surprised the date had been moved up from November to July. So having early warning about the July date will allow us to do some more educational opportunities before NAYC and also make our fundraising a little easier as well. And we're going to continue to focus on the growth and education for our U25 members, including online presentations. We've been talking to our members about some topics they would be interested in learning about. We're going to offer more clinics and hopefully do some good team building activities as well. The registration for our 2025 Young Rider program will be up on the website early in January. And again, if you have any questions, any feedback, please reach out to Samurai. We would love to hear from you guys.
Thank you, Nikki. I'm so pleased that so many of you are here. And Chicken Finger Soup.
Yeah.
I mean, just the name alone, you should have won it. Whatever that means.
It's memorable.
So another area that is going to be focused on next year is this emerging athletes. So we're calling it emerging athletes. It's the athletes and the individuals who support the eventing industry, who are not U25s, who aren't quite high performance, who sort of fall into the middle there and don't necessarily have access to the grants or don't necessarily have access to the coaching.
Slide.
Oh. Thank you.
There we go.
So this is something that it's gonna get off the ground, in 2025. It's gonna be co-chaired by Xavier Traynell and Sam Pritchard. They're really coming up with some great ideas to support riders who seeking a pathway to high performance and also to help develop Canadian athletes who wanna get on that pathway. I can't tell you much more about it because we have yet to really put that program together, but I can tell you that it's in its infancy and it's definitely being discussed. I also want to introduce you to, Bernie Johnston has put forward a bursary to support exactly this cohort, which will be launched next spring, and it will be a bursary. I can't really tell you too much about it, but it's because we're still in the process of putting it in place. But it will be a financial award to support emerging athletes in their competition and education and even in their sort of business side practices as to how they can advance in the eventing world in the horse industry and stay viable in the industry. So watch for that. Yeah. Thank you, Bernie. The other component of Bernie's award, and this is so fabulous, is a bursary for working students. Working students are often overlooked, and they are a backbone of support for boarders, for coaches, for organizers, barn owners, and without working students, life would be harder than it is for the snowboarders. So we want to really thank Bernie for putting that forward and recognizing this important component. It's an important component in the process. So thank you, Bernie. That's
It's gonna be going on.
right. It's hoping to be self-financing and will be in perpetuity, I think you're trying to say. Next, the next is just to talk a little bit about our horse trial venues and our horse trial organizers. This is really a hugely important component because without venues and without organizers, we would have no horse trials. So I want to just explain quickly that the most important way that we can support our horse trial organizers is through what we call the competition improvement program, which helps them pay for capital expenses and improvements to their venues and their land and their cross-country courses or their dressage rings or what have you. We have a program that reimburses them for much of that expenditure every year, or not much, I should not say that. A portion of their expenditure every year. Every little bit helps. In 2023, just so you know, 83% of all the membership fees and levies went through this program back to the organizers. So it's an expensive sport to maintain. They're expensive facilities to try and keep up. And what we give them isn't a fraction of what they spend, or is a fraction of what they spend, but not a huge portion of it. But they appreciate it. In 2024, that number went up to 88%. So again, your membership fees and your levies are going right back into the sport. The other way that we put money back into the sport through our organizers is helping them reimburse costs related to their TDs, because that's running a sanctioned event involves paying a lot of officials, and you're required to have a TD, you're required to have a course designer. So helping with TD expenses is also much appreciated by the organizers, and And we also help with the course designer, but the TV expenses is probably a larger percentage than the course designers. Anyway, just wanted to give you a sense of where your membership fees and your levies go in terms of how we support our venues, because without the venues, there is no sport. We've also made a big effort this year to support volunteers, and this is again to help the organizers. I mean, anyone who's organized a horse trial knows how many people you need to run it safely. I mean, there's always issues with finding volunteers. So we set up a volunteer incentive program that is also run by Kayleen. And what we do is we've offered an embossed Yeti mug, which is as a raffle prize, but more importantly, even though that mug is extremely popular and people love getting it, we do a lot of communication. So we spend a lot of time on social media, on our newsletter, trying to rustle up volunteers and get people interested in the sport of eventing and in coming out and spending a summer day on a cross-country course, learning a little more about the sport, bringing people's families out. And it's been pretty successful this year. Our organizers are very happy with the help that we've been able to give them. And we will absolutely continue it next year. So you can be sure that you're all going to probably hear from Kayleen at some point next year to get out and volunteer. So way to go, Kayleen. Yeah. The other area we're going to be spending a little bit of time on next year is the officials and rules. There, again, I can't really say much about this, but it's on the agenda, possible officials clinics to augment what we've been doing this year, which is minimal. It's the officials bursary. We've only given out one so far, but we did have another application just come in on October 31st. So there is more going out. But that's a bursary to help people who are training to be officials, because again, we can't have sanctioned horse trials in Ontario if we don't have enough officials. And one of the challenges or one of the barriers we're finding is that officials in Ontario are just stretched too thin, and often they're working in Quebec too, and so then, you know, we can't have the scheduling of horse trials becomes increasingly difficult because our organizers don't have access to their cross-country designers, what have you. So we do need more officials in Ontario. And that's something that we're going to evaluate early this year and put together a few more clinics. Now, this is get to the horse trials calendar. I said it's been very challenging this year putting together our calendar. Before you all get too excited with pictures, this is semi-final. There were some very last minute changes made by organizers yesterday. And I have to take this back to the organizers and we have to discuss it and see if there's any opportunities for a little bit of additional movement to spread things out. I'm going to tell you what happened this year was 2 of our organizers have made applications to run FEIs next year. And it's pretty exciting. It has sort of thrown the dates into a little bit of disarray, and it's been really hard to sort of bring everyone back to the table and sort out a calendar that makes sense. But we'll get there, and I'm hoping it'll be in the next week or 10 days. So what we will do is we will just look for it on social media, look for it on our next newsletter, look for it on our website. The final schedule will be published as soon as possible. This is pretty final. You can take it to the bank, but there might be small changes. I mean, I just want to let you know that before you make all your plans for 2025. It will be officially posted as a final calendar in the next, I can't guarantee, but I'm hoping in the next 10 days. Okay, yeah, but this will give you a pretty good idea of how it's flowing. It's, I just have to finalize it with the organizers, okay?
Thank you to Sarah for.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the other change that you're gonna see on this, no Bronte Creek, boo-hoo, but Lane's End, do you guys like Lane's End? They come back. So, Lane's End will be running a dual course trial at the end of August. If you haven't been to Lane's End, it's a really fun place to event. You better get your horses fit though, because there's a lot of hills. Yeah, and Caledon is running a second horse trial in September. We're losing the 3, we're picking up 2 right there. We're picking up 2 FEIs. Glen Oro has applied for an FEI in July 27th, 28th, or 26th, 27th, and they'll looking to run a 1-star and a 2-star. So there's another ED 105 course right there. And Dr. Clover has applied to run an FBI, again, a 1-star and 2-star. They already run ED 105, so that's not an additional one, but it's a new course, and they've just invested in a beautiful water jump. So there's, this is very positive. There's money being spent, and there's a lot of positive energy around this sport right now. So if anyone has any questions about that, find me later over lunch, or ask me now if you like. But we get on to the financials. This is one of the obligations that we have. So to report to you our financials, I'm going to let Bernie do that, and I will run the slideshow. That one's on. It's on.
So there are a lot of numbers that are going to flash before you up on the screen. I'm not going to go over them in detail. I'm sure you're all happy to hear that. All of Sarah's slides, including these financial statements, will be going up on the OEA website in about 10 days.
I don't think they can hear. This one doesn't have a, here,
Test, test.
Oh, it's supposed to be louder, Green.
God, I am loud. I am very loud. So they're gonna go up on the OEA website. If anybody has any questions on any of the numbers, feel free to reach out to me on the finances at ontarioeventing.ca email address. I'm more than happy to go over any of the numbers if you have any questions. So we'll just go through these very, very quickly. The one thing I do want to make sure that you're aware of is we've made a change in the accounting methodology for the presentation of the financial statements. We've gone from a cash basis of accounting to an accrual basis of accounting. We've done that basically for 2 reasons. The first one is that the accrual basis is more in keeping with generally accepted accounting principles. And 2, the accrual basis basically reduces any distortions that we have timing difference wise that a cash basis of accounting could have. So this just presents the financials a little bit better for you, the members. This is the income statement. You can just go through them fairly quickly. These financial statements, you guys are the members. These are your financial statements, and they do require approval by all of you at this meeting. And so I think that Sarah will put forward a motion to approve, for the members to approve the financial statements for the year ended October 31st, 2024. And again, if you've got any questions on any of the numbers, if you have any questions on the change to the accounting methodology, reach out to me. I can talk all day long about that stuff.
So I'm tabling a motion to accept the OEA 2024 year-end financial as presented by OEA Treasurer Bernadette Johnston. Do I need a second? Stephanie, thank you. Is all in favor? Anyone opposed? Thank you. The motion is adopted. Thanks, Bernie. Thank you all. So our next thing that we're going to get to is the election of our directors, but before I do that, I want to say, we have to say farewell to one of our directors. Our past president, past chair, Veronica Lowe will be leaving us this year. She's been instrumental in the success of this organization, in particular the U25 program, which she and Penny Rowland revamped in 2019. Veronica will no longer be on the board, but she has agreed to stick around as a volunteer. So I thank you, Veronica, for all of your commitment and time that you spent on this organization, and we've got a little present for you. Veronica lost her voice last night, yelling and screaming with the indoor eventing. If anyone hasn't checked in for this meeting, could you please see Veronica after the meeting, because we do need to keep track of our attendance. We have an obligation to report how many people, how many members were here, non-members, etc. So thank you. So the next order of business is to re-elect essentially Nikki and Doug to their second terms. So Nikki and Doug have both been on the board for 3 years, and we are going to confirm them for another 3 years, subject to your approval. And the other member we'd like to welcome is Ann Neal, who used to be the president and the chair and has been off the board for a little while. As chair, just because we're losing Veronica and we just need some wise counsel and leadership. So we would like you also to approve Ann. So if anyone has any questions, let me know. Any questions? Sorry. I'm going to table then a motion to confirm the following individuals as returning directors and chair to the OEA to serve until their successors are duly elected. That's Doug Topolovich, second term in the role of vice president, Nikki McClellan, second term in the role of director at large, and Ann Neal, chairperson. Anyone second that? Bernie, thanks, seconded by Bernadette. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Really? You're gonna?
Show up.
Very good. So motion is approved. Welcome back, you guys, and welcome home. Thank you, Veronica. We're gonna miss you. Okay. Now. Why are they trying to? This brings the business component